It's Tuesday, and Peter Hug joins me on this Fed Day. He's a speaker here at the IPMI Conference. Peter, good to bring For Pete's Sake on the road with you in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's fun to see you here.
So you're a speaker here at the conference, Peter. Let's talk a little bit about your message to attendees before we dive into the Fed.
Well, from what I'm seeing here at the conference, the mood, believe it or not, is a little bit more bullish than it was at last year's conference. And, they think that the market may still have some softness in it short term, but, given the overall scenario of the Fed probably not moving too much, the Greek situation and the EU situation, just generally the potential of other members looking to leave or possibly renege on their debt has created some underlying support for the market.
So let's talk the Fed now. Decision will come out Wednesday. What are we expecting? Any news?
I don't expect a lot. They may indicate that they are more satisfied with the pace of the economic recovery, which would put a September rate increase back on the table. Most of the participants here at the conference think that based on the Fed fund forward rates, that the rate increase is more likely to happen in December. I think they may come in December. They may come twice, but it'll be, I don't think, more than a quarter point either way. They may go an eighth in September, an eighth in December, or wait for December to do the full quarter. But then I think they're done. I don't think they'll do it next year in the election.
Right. So that's my next question. Even if they do, it'd be so minimal. Would there be any repercussions for gold?
I think it's already factored in the market. And, you have the 10-year bond trading at 2.4, which has already done a lot of the Fed's work. I mean, the market has tightened up significantly from where the 10-year was last year at about 1.6. So, the rate has almost gone up a point on the 10-year. And, I think it baked into the market. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed did move on this rate, that actually it would be positive for the metals, sort of, sell the rumor, buy the fact.
You mentioned Greece. That's the other situation we're all eyeing here, at least the markets are. What do you think will happen there? Will we find a negotiation?
Yeah, I think they'll come to some kind of compromise. The Greek situation, in my opinion, if you look at Greece as an individual entity, I don't think it's a major significant event if they were to leave the EU. It's more the psychology if they were to renege on the debt and leave the EU, who else is in line?
Exactly. That is the question here, is who's next? Who's
next? And there's, suspicion that the Irish might be next, the Italians, the Spanish are sort of the general names thrown out there. But even from a perspective of the Brits, I mean, they're looking potentially on a referendum basis to break away from the EU. So there is an underlying sort of turmoil within the EU, and if Greece were to leave, that could be the catalyst to create further issues for the union.
So let's talk price range now. Gold stuck in this 1180, 1190 range. Peter, what's it going to take to break free here? Could we see a rally this summer?
It's possible, but I think the sentiment from a financial perspective is still a fight towards deflation, and I premise that based on the industrial metals. If you look at platinum, palladium, platinum is now under $1,100 an ounce. So I'm still seeing short-term weakness in the metals, and I think what the catalyst will be for the metals to generate not only higher prices, but momentum to higher prices and continued higher prices would be some type of indications that inflation is coming back, and that I think is still premature.
Do you think palladium has the best fundamental story here?
It does. I think palladium from a supply-demand point of view is still the best metal from that perspective. They are expecting a deficit in the palladium supplies for 2015. So I think that has the least amount of downside in it. But will it rally up to $1,000 an ounce? I think that's going to take more a stronger global recovery, and I'd need to see China come back on track with some of its numbers showing better growth before I got that optimistic on palladium.
Peter Hug, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And thanks for watching our coverage here from the IPMI in San Antonio. We'll have more for you throughout the day, so stay tuned to Kitco.com. Thanks for watching.